Alrighty, everybody. We're going to start tracking this cell here. It's been catching my attention for a little while now. This is not moving into northeast Alabama, but it's about to move into northwest Alabama. Here's our first round of these thunderstorms, and looks like it's going to move into northwest Alabama here shortly. But right now, bear with me, get my voice back here. This tornado watch in effect still. Okay, I need to check this out. So a tornado warning remains in effect until 2:15 a.m. for Chickasaw, southeastern Calhoun, and southeastern Pontotoc counties. At 1:34, a large, extremely dangerous tornado was located over Vardaman, or 10 miles west of Houston, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Take cover now. You're in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be destroyed. Considerable damage to homes, businesses, and vehicles is likely, and complete destruction is possible. You do not hear wording like this, guys, very often. This is going to be a higher-end tornado here because it has been this cell has been continuously producing tornadoes, just continuously. Long track. Locations impacted: George P. Coser, I believe, State Park, Pittsboro, Slate Springs, Thorne, Van Vliet, Parkersburg, Egypt, Derma, Reed Lloyd, Pyland, Vardaman, Thelma, Bruce, Tabbville, Anchor, Atlanta, New Holka, and Bona Vista. Some of those names are very hard to pronounce. This thing is moving right toward Okolona, which is out in Mississippi. Very nasty looking supercell here. Very nasty looking rotation on it too. It doesn't look like it's on the ground currently. It looks like it's broadened out and lifted, but it was on the ground, and that's what it's been doing. It's been dropping and lifting, and it's right over Houston right now in Mississippi. The reason I'm going live on this is because it is tracking right toward Alabama, and it will eventually make its way. This system here will eventually make its way into northwest Alabama, probably within the next, I'm going to say, hour. But this is our first round that's popped up. Let me get a track on it. So it's still a good ways out from Florence and Muscle Shoals area. It has moved a little bit further north than its current track before. I may still have to adjust that track a little bit, as it looks like it is moving a little bit northeasterly. So we will move it a little bit further northeast. Looks like this cell here, it's got a history of producing large tornadoes, lots of damage from this same supercell. And that's what we're going to be looking at. When you get supercells developing like this, they just continuously keep producing tornadoes. It's just like a trend. Once it gets going, it just keeps going. So it looks like it's 52 miles away from entering into Alabama on this side, of course. So we're going to track it a little bit longer until it does move into northwest Alabama. There's a good possibility. Honestly, I don't, know why tornado watch has not went up for the western portions and northwest portions of Alabama. I'm not really sure why they haven't put a tornado watch out there with this kind of a cell moving that way, but they haven't. So we'll, kind of see if that happens or not. It may or may not. But right now, this tornadic cell, very dangerous cell. It has weakened a bit, which is good, but it'll probably pick right back up again. Usually they recycle. It's moving to the northeast or east-northeast there, right toward Okolona, the town of Okolona there in Mississippi. It's going to be pretty close, main circulation, just slightly north of Houston right now. Tracking that on the radar. Let me check it out on the correlation scan. I'm not seeing nothing crazy at the moment on the correlation, but I do see that strong area of rotation, and it may be trying to pick back up again. You know, I thought I saw some debris or something right in there, so it may have briefly touched down again. Let me see what that scan shows here. So yeah, it was on the ground for sure back here around Vardman. I hope those people are all right in the town of Vardman, because it looks like they got a direct hit by it as it moved northeast, and now it's just weakened. But it could recycle any minute. These winds are going to be insane, I can already tell you. Yeah, 70 miles per hour. And looks like it may be... Okay, it is trying to produce again. So we're going to watch that circulation carefully. We're starting to see some bright colors show up again, so it is rotating very decently again. It'll more likely produce another tornado. So if you know anybody in the town of Okolona in Mississippi, they need to be going and taking their precautions with this, even though they're just right outside the warning box. Close enough. They need to be taking shelter if they're in that area there. And I wish I'd have stayed tracking this thing earlier. But yeah, we got reports all back through here of the tornado from this thing. Even damage. Some 18-wheelers was flipped over, and some roof damage, other stuff like that was reported from it. But we are intensifying once again. More than likely, it's going to try to put down another one. Well, that is a nasty looking signature. Yeah, I'm getting concerned with those colors, how they're starting to show up a lot more now. So it is trying to wrap back up again. So let's see if we got any updates. It's in effect until 2:15. It'll be extended to the northeast more than likely. It's moving at 40 miles per hour. Make sure everybody's good here. Headed to Tupelo. Let me take a look at that. Tupelo, Mississippi. I'm not 100% familiar with where that is, but at the same time, I've saw it on this map before. Let's just make this a little bit easier here. Yeah, this thing's about to produce a tornado again. My other radar will not come up. I don't know what is going on with that. Alright, let me see what you guys are seeing currently. Okay, making sure you're still looking at the radar. Hopefully everything don't crash. I've got two radars at once wanting to load up. But usually this computer can handle with no problem. It's just the apps themselves, they like to bug out when you got more than one radar running. All right, so while that's loading, I'll try my best to, get with you on that here in just a second. Yeah, still a very nasty looking signature. All right, right now we have some decent rotation on that. Yeah, this this thing's rain wrapped. Yeah, you're absolutely not going to see that tornado. It is completely rain wrapped. So that is the most dangerous type of tornado you can have. It's completely obscured by the rainfall. It will be like a wall of rain coming towards you. Okay, let me back up, see if this radar is ever loaded up, and it hasn't. Okay, you know what? Just forget it. Let's do this another way. Okay, Tupelo. Okay, so it's a little bit further northeast of this cell. Oh my gosh. Now it decides to show up. Okay, yeah, Tupelo, Mississippi. This cell right now, is south of them, but there's still some other stuff. Other storms and stuff headed her way. Yeah, like going right, heading her way for sure. Right now, this cell is south of Tupelo. Now, can it, go back north? It's a possibility it could go north. She is in a PDS tornado watch. You do not hear that. PDS tornado watches are the rarest type of watches in existence. Particularly dangerous situation. She's in that tornado watch area. So if I would have not. There's no way I would be in a camper. Yeah, if that was my mama, I would be blowing that phone up, and I would not stop blowing it up till she picked it up. Because there is the back part of this cell is now trying to track further to the north. As you can see by the storm track here, this back part is wanting to go right toward Tupelo. But right now the circulation part is south. It's wanting to go off to the northeast. So yeah, I would be calling her up, trying to get a hold of her, just in case. As these supercells can move erratically. Right now we've still got very broad rotation with this cell. It's still producing destructive winds right there in that area. It does look a little bit less organized than what it was. So, as it is moving off to the northeast toward Nettleton, which I talked about Nettleton earlier, that if you was in that area to watch out. But it is looking a little bit less interesting, but I'm noticing another area of potential rotation. This thing may be trying to do a replacement there. The rotation may be trying to swap, moving back a little bit. So I'm watching an area now of a little bit of rotation, of course, right in this little area. I'll keep an eye on that. And let's check these winds out going toward Tupelo, Mississippi. Currently, there's no severe storm warnings with this stuff, but that tornado warning is very, close. So I would have to be saying, yeah, she definitely needs to be called. That's for certain. Okay, this cell's drastically weakening out, but I'm watching for a replacement anytime with the rotation. Yeah, this thing is looking nothing like what it was. But yeah, if she's in Tupelo, Mississippi, she's definitely getting these storms. They're, making their way to the north. And, the tornadic part of this cell is wanting to move off to the northeast toward Nettleton. I'm seeing a lot more hail show up on here, too. So it's got a very intense updraft, very strong. This thing could produce a tornado again. I'm noticing this side of the cell is now intensifying. So we're going to be watching that area to see if another rotation does try to develop. Usually with that signature there and all that lightning showing up, it's going to try again. Yeah, that lightning is really picking up. And keep in mind, again, it is completely rain wrapped. It's still rotating. Don't get me wrong; it's not as pronounced of a signature as it was, but it is still rotating. Let me look at it on another scan here. This is going to add the storm motion back with it. Yeah, the rotation is weakened out, but it's still there. Some destructive winds with that. Then move back to the chat. Lots of damage in Mississippi. Yeah, I don't doubt it at all. I know that it's associated with that cell right there. That cell there is the one that's done the damage. That cell has, been really mean. Well, right now this is the first batch, so let me run it through everybody again. Since this is weakened momentarily, it don't mean it ain't gonna try again. The rotation has weakened on it. I've noticed this cell, it's no longer by itself. It's actually part of a big complex now of showers and storms. So this cell is not an individual cell anymore like it was. So it's having to fight a little bit more for that energy compared to when it had all of it by itself just a little while ago. And a tornado watch may be coming for northwest Alabama. Mesoscale discussion. Severe potential, watch possible. We've been talking about that for a little bit. Severe tornado threat may spread into parts of Middle Tennessee and west central northwest Alabama through the early morning. A new tornado watch may be needed with this cell, so don't be surprised if you don't see northwest Alabama go under a tornado watch as this batch moves through. We do have some showers to the south, not a lot, to really work with. This is a bit concerning because, this big batch down here, now there is still some warnings on it and some rainfall, but, I'm not sure that it'll make it up here. It may, but there used to be a really big batch of heavy precipitation in that area that was going to push northeast. And if that would have made it here, and it would have cooled things off, it could have helped things out a little bit. But then again, if the sun came out, not sure that it would really matter. But system we really need to watch. Seeing some showers pop up now north of Huntsville, up in Tennessee. But our main thing is going to be this batch here moving into northwest Alabama at this point. It's not going to be, coming into northeast Alabama for another while. So this thing is almost on top of Nettleton. Okolona. Yeah, it's really lost. It's really unorganized at this point, but it is producing some destructive winds. We've got some 70s in there, which will do a lot of damage. 73, 74. I think I saw 77 there for a minute. And we're really close to the radar, too. As you see, right here's our radar site. And it's really close to the radar, and it's showing 70s, so that thing's producing some destructive winds right on top of Okolona right now. Some very high winds coming in there. But it's really having trouble getting its rotation back, or its tornado back, rather. It's really broadened out. Yeah, there is some really high winds jetting into the backside, or jetting into this thing at this point. Yeah, I think it's becoming a little bit more unorganized, but there could be some additional areas of rotation I'm watching. This thing has now got, looks like 2 areas of potential rotation now. Looks like it might try to be getting, its act together again. But yeah, 2 areas of rotation now I'm watching. It's going to be down here, Okolona area, and then we've got another one right here trying to develop, and that one's going to the northeast. It would put it going very close to Tupelo, Mississippi, if that did develop into a tornado, and it is rotating. I would put it going towards Shannon, Verona, Plantersville. Of course, don't want to forget about this one down here toward Okolona, but I believe that rotation there is being overtaken to the south here by some very high winds jetting in from the south, just pushing that thing, pushing into it, and the area of rotation, it looks like it's switching to right here. Starting to see that intensify. Right here, that will be south. Looks like it's going to move to the northeast near Verona or Plantersville, and Shannon especially needs to be watching this. So we may have another tornado here shortly on the northern part. Well, actually, no, a little bit further north of this one. Let me correct myself. It's not on the northern part. So another area of rotation. All right, that little area of rotation there weakened out. So it's just moved through Okolona. I imagine that those winds, were very high. I think I see an 80 marker in there, 80 miles per hour marker if I can find it again. And we do have rotation again with it. Of course, it really hasn't stopped rotating at all. The whole thing's rotating. So, yeah, there it is. So 96 miles per hour. And there's some 80s in there too. So yeah, this thing may try to wrap another one up. And let me slow my animation down a little bit. It's moving way too quick. Yeah, let's slow it down just a bit. Let's driving my eyes crazy. Okay, that's a lot better. All right, so tornado warning has been extended on this. South of Tupelo, a new tornado warning is in effect for northeastern Chickasaw County, northeast Mississippi, southern Itawambia County, and northeastern Mississippi, southern Lee County, and northeast Mississippi, and northern Monroe County, and northeast Mississippi. 3 a.m. Keep in mind, they are an hour ahead of us there. So at 3 a.m. Central Daylight Time, until 3 a.m. No, I'm sorry, I got that completely wrong. It's in effect until 3 a.m. Misread it. At 2:10 a.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Okolona, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Tornado and half a dollar size hail. Radar indicated rotation. So areas impacted: Fulton, Abney, Eastman, Smithville, Turon, Egypt, Shannon, Wren, Nettleton, New Salem, Okolona, Leotis, Old Union, Buena Vista, Clay, Cardsville, Tilden, New Wren, Armory, and Hatley. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Bear with me, I'm going to have to dim this display down. There we go. This thing's about to give me a headache. It's so bright. And now it's too dim. So the good news at the moment, the rotation is very broad. The bad news is it could be producing some 80 mile per hour winds, 70 to 80 mile per hour winds, very possible. Going toward Nettleton and Shannon. Thankfully, it's staying south of Tupelo. Nothing in our area yet. No, excuse me. Completely lost my voice there. Goodness gracious, these allergies are awful. Yeah, it looks like about 5 a.m. Sorry about that. I like to not caught my breath there for a minute. But yes, there is a scanner app that you can download, and it'll usually let you hear a lot of stuff. But keep in mind, a lot of people are going digital, and it's fully encrypted, and you can't hear everything. But obviously, you can hear this. So nothing is moving toward us at this time. Just to let everybody know, this is over in Mississippi. The only reason I'm tracking it is because it's starting to move toward northwest Alabama. And again, this is in Mississippi. It's not crossed over into Alabama yet. But it is heading that way. And when it does, the way it's tracking now, it looks like it's tracking more to the north, a little bit further north than what the warning box is there. So it looks like it may eventually move into the Red Bay area, Vina area, that's in Alabama, the Red Bay area and Vina area. And we're already seeing some additional thunderstorm development ahead of this, moving into like Cherokee, eventually Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, Sheffield, Florence. And we've got some other severe stuff down here to the south that is now moving into Alabama, around Aliceville, Carlton, and Reform, Gordo area, Gainesville. But over here in our area, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Maybe some showers up in North Jackson County. But that's it. But yeah, bear with me just a moment, guys. I'm going to get a drink because I'm just getting where I can't breathe here. So bear with me. Let me get a drink and I'll be right back tracking. All right, everybody, we're back. And I use radar scope and I also use radar omega. Yeah, my really big concern is going to be with the secondary round. You know, the reason there is a watch possibly going to go up, still a mesoscale discussion. They're still discussing putting a watch up. I mean, I really think it'd be a good idea to do that. But all this activity is going to move, to the northeast. They're thinking it will miss our area. As I stated earlier, during my last update, which was, I think, at like 10 o'clock, 11, that there's a possibility some of this doesn't make it into northeast Alabama. And, we kind of need it to make it here because it would take some of the energy out, possibly. But either way, and one reason. Let me check something else too, because I just thought I heard an update come in from Storm Prediction Center. Let me look that up. It is around that time, but the update should be coming in. Okay. Okay, so it looks like they still haven't updated it, so I'm not sure what the notification was that I got. Yeah, they've still got a high risk. The only thing I see currently is they have slightly extended that high risk into the southern ports of Marshall County. It is really close to us, so we're really going to pay attention to this. But they have extended that high risk to include the southern and southwest portions of Marshall County. So they far southern and southwest portions are now in a high risk in Marshall County, and the rest of us is in that level 4. We're all in a level 4 except for, again, southwest Marshall County. They're in a level 5. I know it's a little confusing. It really doesn't matter. It's the same difference. So consider everybody in North Alabama under a level 5. And I've been thinking they may shift that risk further northeast. That's just a feeling I've had. It could be wrong. Hopefully it is, but it really don't matter either way. I mean, honestly, either way it don't matter. Anyway, let's get back to it. All right, so we're getting our hook back. The storm's trying to recycle. It's getting its hook back, so this thing is trying to recycle again. And I'll show you what I'm talking about by its hook back. I know some people may be like, "What are you talking about?" Let me move the radar a little more. All right, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, look right here how odd that looks. And now look, it's starting to get the hook shape back to it. Like the hook shape went away, and now look, it's starting to come back, and you're starting to get this hook. It is starting to come back again. It's starting to wrap around. So it's starting to get its hook back again as it has moved past Okolona. So we may very well have a tornado try to develop. So Nettleton, if anyone's in the town of Nettleton in Mississippi, you got minutes to take shelter. Same with Shannon. I hope everybody's already took shelter. But it does look like it's trying to produce a tornado again. I figured it would. Yeah, it is trying to get its act back together again. Alrighty, I believe we may have a tornado developing soon. So Nettleton, they need to be underground. Here we are. We're getting that broad rotation starting to wrap back up quick. So Nettleton, if there are anyone in Nettleton, Mississippi, you got probably another minute or two or three, if that, to get where you need to be. You got a tornadic circulation coming right at you. It is broad, doesn't look like it's on the ground, but it could still do damage. I was looking at a signature I just saw that grabbed my eye for a moment. Okay. Come on, radar. Yeah, it is trying really hard to produce again. But so far, I don't believe it has produced again. Okay. But yeah, it's still rotating. It's got some broad rotation, but it's still trying to do it to produce. Okay. That's showing a tornadic signature going right toward Tupelo, but don't get scared. Sometimes those things are not correct. I do see some broad rotation around Verona, but it's not concerning at the moment. Because sometimes these radars are incorrect. There's no tornado warning on that, but there is some very high winds. So I'll keep an eye on that area just because the radar is indicating, a TVS. But I have seen those be wrong because it's just not organized enough. I see a little area there. It's just not. It looks like some gusty, high winds, but nothing that should be showing a tornadic signature like that or a TVS. All right, it's losing its rotation again. Yeah, this thing's completely rain wrapped. So looking at this cell, it it has a nice updraft, but I'm starting to see a little bit clearer of a slot there going up into the storm. Um, it is trying its best to get its act together, but it seems like these storms to the north are killing it off because it's not able to wrap. It's not able, the RFD side is not able to wrap around enough. It's got a very nice inflow notch, so it's, it is pulling air in very strongly, but it's just not able to wrap. It's more or less, just pushing the wind on the southern side there near Nettleton, but it's still trying. Don't get me wrong. It's just these cells up here seem to be causing it a problem. I see a hook now on this little cell here. Yep, that's a little bit concerning looking. Okay, that could just be an odd looking signature. We did have a report of some hail. I have to keep an eye on that one. Okay, yeah, just kind of odd looking. So it's like right on top of Tupelo right now, this storm is. That's a pretty decent cell developing over Verona there. But again, that tornadic signature, the TVS signature there, it's just telling me there's some rotation potentially. It's not a tornado. Like, it's not even close to that at this point. Yeah, I mean, this cell's really falling apart. The northern stuff is just killing that. It's killing it. It's not able to wrap. It's just not able to do it. It looks like it's just completely falling apart. So that is, a good sign. Those northern storms are just blocking what it needs to wrap around. It's got a nice inflow notch and all that, and the RFD side, it's just not able to do what it needs to do to wrap up. So that's really good. Yeah, the updraft is just going. That inflow notch is even disappearing on it. But it is producing some hail, that's for sure. So it does still have an updraft. Yeah, those storms from the north have pretty much just tore this thing up, took its energy away. I mean, it's still there. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's taken a lot of what it needs away. That don't mean it can't spin another one up, as it definitely could. I am seeing the updraft, or the hail rather. It had some pretty good size hail on it there just for a minute. I'm gonna say probably golf ball size there for a minute. Let's take a look at this, see what it says. Tornadic thunderstorm which prompted the warning has moved out, and therefore the warning has been canceled. Tornado watch remains until 4 o'clock. Okay, so they canceled one of the tornado warnings on it. Okay, yeah, there's still one in effect for 3 till 3 a.m. tornado and half a dollar size hail. So I said, golf ball. So that's pretty good guess. All right, everybody. The tip of this is about to start moving into, looks like toward the Red Bay area. It's getting really close. I'll have to switch back to Huntsville really quick. All right, so we do have some storms now developing, and that is now developed in northwest Alabama around Gravely Springs, moving toward Collinwood, Iron City, St. Florence, Muscle Shoals area, Cherokee. And I believe we've got it there. I believe there's a camera very close to that area. I'm going to take a look at it, make sure I ain't got it on the stream. Bear with me, we'll take a look at the high resolution models again, see if they've changed any. Okay, so there is a camera there in Lexington. Let's see what we see. I do not see a single thing on this camera, so it must be aimed the wrong direction. But yeah, all I see is clouds. I don't see nothing on the camera there. I'm going to go look at the high resolution models again, see what they're showing. Alright, so let me move it back. It shows at 4 a.m. it moving across northwest Alabama. So I'm going to say between 3 and 4. And it does show some of this stuff getting into Marshall County and going up through Jackson County. Even DeKalb County gets just a little bit. And then all that pushes off to the north. It just all jets to the north. And it's absolutely clear, like nothing else. Then we start to get a line of, looks like supercells out ahead of the main line around 2 p.m., 2 to 3 p.m. After this moves through, 2 to 3 p.m., we get a line of supercells out ahead of the main line. And looks like those start to move through, of course, northeast Alabama around 4 o'clock. That's out ahead of the main line. Nasty is showing a nasty supercell coming. Now this can change. Okay, it's nothing written in stone, but it's showing a nasty supercell ahead of the line going through Crossville, Lathamville area, Kilpatrick, Albertville, Boaz. That's what it shows. But again, we can't go by that because it's still a little ways. It's still a good ways out. Overall, seeing, another line break off from the main line ahead of that, which could produce some more supercells. That looks like that's going to be around 7 o'clock. More supercells moving through. This is just insane. 8 o'clock tonight, more supercells moving through. And then the main line finally decides to move on out of here. Looks like it's completely out of our area. Let's say midnight. Looks like it gets completely out of here by midnight. So it is going to be an absolute long, long day ahead. So And you know, I didn't think the models could look worse than what they did earlier, but to be honest, they actually look worse than what they did earlier. Okay, what have we got going on here? It's like it's trying to get its inflow notch back. Yes, actually it is trying to get back together again. All right, let's take a look at comments. Okay. All right, Isaiah, I understand that. I'll be glad to help you out. I'm just trying not to fall asleep here. I haven't had any sleep at all, and I've been at it since, gosh, I forgot what time it was this morning. Man, I don't even remember what time it was this morning, but I got up early, tracking, stuff and giving out stuff early this morning. I'm exhausted, and maybe I'll get a couple hours of sleep when all this moves through. Tremont, I believe I gave out a warning about that area just a few minutes ago. That if they was in that area, they needed to get out of it. Let me look. I know I saw that area. I mean, maybe I'm getting too sleepy, but I could have swore I did. Okay. Yes, Tremont is under a tornado warning. Let me make sure I'm telling you right. I want to make sure it's still in effect. Okay, I don't much trust that one. Let's try this one. Okay. Yes, Tremont is under a tornado warning. That's due to this cell moving to the northeast. I wanted to make double sure. But yes, Tremont is under a tornado warning, and this rotation is going directly toward them. And this thing's really wrapping back up again. It's looking really nasty again on the radar. So to give a little education of what I'm looking at here, you got a really strong inflow right here. You can really see it. It's moved a little bit ahead of my drawing there, so let me let it stop, or I'll stop it for a second. Okay. You've got a really good inflow notch right here. Now this is what you look for when you're looking at a storm rotating. The problem is this is such a big cell. It's having trouble. The RFD is having trouble wrapping around, and that's why it's having trouble rotating. But I mean, it's having trouble getting a really strong rotation going. But that's I think that's changing, honestly. Let me look at the signatures again. It's still a bit of a mess. But yeah, you've got winds, the red, you got the winds there, this red being pulled up into the storm, and which is going away from the radar, and then you've got winds going toward the radar, it's being pulled, in another way, and you pretty much just get this going on, a rotation. But it's still all the pieces there, and I'm thinking it just cannot get that northern part. I mean, it can't get itself to wrap around because of those storms there. It's a little bit to the north, but that could change, and it looks like it may be changing. I'm keeping a close eye on it, but I don't like the looks of that signature, especially this. That right there, I don't like. Well, I'm not seeing anything crazy at the moment with it. I don't like the way it looks. There's some really high winds because I'm picking dust and stuff up on the radar site here. Um, and really, what we have out ahead of this thing is some crazy wind shear. You know, this thing is really trying to get us back together again. But we have some crazy winds jetting out like this ahead of this thing, too. So, um, you know, it could quickly spin one up. The winds are jetting out ahead of it really high. You can actually see some of the showers here that's just running off and leaving it. That is the wind shear, and it is strong ahead of this thing. So it is actually trying to push this side of the rotation. It's trying to push it, you know, in is what it's trying to do. It's trying to actually push it north and make it wrap again, and that's exactly what it's trying to do. It's trying to wrap up again. Let's see how far out we are from the radar site. We're a little bit of a ways out here, but I think I should still be able to see it. And again, the green, you know, and the red's close together. That's what you got to watch for. Yeah, this thing's trying to do something again. I'm noticing a signature right here. It's trying to do something again, and if it's able to get that, you know, that inflow to increase a bit more, you know, it's starting to get the backside, the RFD side is starting to come back in, and it's trying to wrap around. But so far, thankfully, it's not able to do that yet, but it's trying to. So yeah, you can see it trying to produce again. Yeah, look at that right there. It looks like a fish hook almost. All right, so this guy is starting to break off from that stuff there up to the north around Tupelo. This thing's trying to separate again. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that area of rotation with it. So if it keeps on rotating, it's going right toward Tremont. So if you got family there in Tremont, you know, be blowing them up on the phone right now. Wake them up. Tell them to take their tornado precautions. They've got, you know, I didn't realize how close it had already got to Tremont, but it is almost right on top of them. It is really close, and it is rotating. Let's see how close that circulation is. It is 9 miles away from Tremont. In my opinion, those storm tracks there, I don't think it's going to go that far north. It may. But yeah, Tremont, you're really close to that circulation. Yeah, it's having a really hard time keeping its rotation, but it has. It seems to recycle over and over again. Every time it loses it, it just, you know, it tries to get it right back again. Yeah, I don't like the way that looks. All right, so the winds are, it's really starting to pick up. Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, we may have something trying to develop now. So anyone in Tremont, Mississippi, hopefully you're underground. That is a nasty looking little signature starting to develop. And we got lots of lightning showing up suddenly too. It's just trying to give me a heads up that something's going on. Because as you notice, this lightning's developing right around where the rotation's at, and that's where I get concerned when I start to see that lightning do that, pop up around the rotation. Lightning's usually a very good indicator that something's about to go on. So let's look at it on the reflectivity again. Yeah, it's trying so hard. Okay, so I'm starting to see something there. It almost looked like some debris or something being lofted. Yeah, I'm not seeing a signature, but I do see a signature where there's some very high winds. There, it is pulling some dust up. You can actually see that right there. It's pulling the dust up. So this thing may be trying to produce again. Yeah, I'm seeing some dust being pulled up by the correlation here. So it is trying once again. That's a mean looking hook starting to go on there. All right, so we're starting to see an increase on the wind speeds here, right there. So that thing may just try to do it. It's got a very intense updraft, and this thing may just do it again. Look at it on another scan. Yeah, that thing's got a very intense, and the lightning is trying to tell me something. Look at the lightning, how it's blowed up around that circulation, just within the next. Look at that. Usually when I'm looking for a tornado and I'm seeing rotation, I look for the lightning. And when I start seeing that lightning, get around the rotation, that's where I get concerned about it. So definitely concerned right now. Okay, I believe tornado warning has extended out, and they have. I've been so zoomed in on that thing, I did not even see that. But yes, tornado warning has been extended on it. That goes into Alabama now. Wait. Let me make sure I'm telling you right. No, tornado watch. Is that tornado watch? But now it's saying warning. I think my radar's freezing up. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Sorry, guys. Let me get it back up. So sometimes it bugs out like that when I've got 2 or 3 radars running at once. And it's not my computer. My computers can handle probably 40 or 50 radars running at one time. This thing is super fast, but the radars themselves, they don't get along. Okay, now that makes more sense. So no, that did not look like a watch to me. Tornado warning for southwestern Franklin County and northwest Alabama until 3:45. At 2:47 a.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Evergreen, or 7 miles south of Fulton, moving east at 30 miles per hour. This cell has a history of producing tornadoes across portions of central Mississippi, Hazards, tornado, and ping pong ball size hail. Areas impacted would be mainly rural areas of southwestern Franklin County, including the following: Hodges, Duketon, Atwood, Vina, and Little Bear Creek Reservoir. Take cover now. This tornado is rain wrapped. As I mentioned, heavy rainfall may hide this tornado, so do not wait to hear the tornado or see it, because you ain't gonna see it. Especially it being at nighttime, and even during the day, it will be hard to see a rain wrapped tornado. So keep that in mind. There is a tornado warning out that does include the areas of Hackleburg, Hodges, Vina, all them areas. Red Bay is just to the north of it. Let's take a look at this on the. Looks like it may have lost a little bit of its energy there. Yeah, it broke apart again. But the rotation's still in it. It's got some crazy rotation in it. When I say crazy, I mean it's just kind of, it's a mess at the moment. And still keeping a close eye on it. Let me take a look at the correlation, see if there's anything being picked up. So that is a big area there. That's seeing some dust and stuff up in the air there around Tremont. This thing's producing, got some destructive winds with it. But yeah, this area of rotation is now entering Tremont. And it's got a very nice inflow notch on it. It just can't seem to get itself organized. And I'm hoping it stays that way as it moves through Tremont, because that's a little town. It looks like it might be, it looks like it's a little bit to the northwest, or to the west of Tremont, so they're still in that the inflow area there, so it's quite intense winds. Let's get an idea just how high those winds are. Let me look at it on another scan. I'm going to stop it. Oh, wait a minute. That signature there does not look good. Around Tremont, that does not look good at all. Yeah, I'm not liking the way that looks. There could be a tornado there. I'm saying that because of what I'm seeing, which it doesn't make sense looking at the radar scan here. Let me double check. I don't want to jump the gun or anything. Yeah, it doesn't match up with the signature here. That's not the right spot for it. So that's just some maybe an error with the radar. Man, I don't know. That has really got me confused. Usually you don't see colors like that unless there's something on the ground, or there's debris being picked up. So I'm going to say at the most that there's some debris being picked up right now near Tremont. That could be due to the circulation, due to the high winds, but there is something being picked up, because that scan wouldn't be showing it, and it looks like it's going away now. Okay, it's gone, so I'm starting, which it really don't make sense that it lasted through 2 scans. Usually if it was an error, it would have went away on the first scan, but I mean, it could have been an error with the radar. Yeah, it could have been. Very possible, or it could have, picked some debris up due to the damaging winds. That's also possible. But the main area of rotation, just slightly west of Tremont, they're still getting a lot of destructive winds off of it, I imagine. But if there was going to be a tornado, it would be right in there, which is slightly west at this point of Tremont. And you know, I won't say that it's not possible for that to have been a spin up, like maybe, you know, with it pulling that in. I'm not going to rule out that that was not a quick spin up at all by looking at the signature there near Tremont. It wouldn't surprise me by the way that looked, honestly. It could have been a very brief spin up. I mean, it just may have rotated just enough right there, especially with those winds jetting ahead of it. You know, there's a possibility, even without the signature showing there with that area, it could have briefly spinned up something there near Tremont. And that's what we saw right here, because there was definitely something happened. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's getting damage reports near Tremont or anything. Actually, Mississippi reports say yes, according to my best friend. Can you fill me in on that? It's got my curiosity. Okay. All right, this supercell is continuing to move off to the northeast, about to enter into Alabama uh, pretty shortly, near Vina. And yeah, that southerly wind is just ripping into this thing. At this point, it's starting to weaken again. Still tornado warnings out, you know, obviously. Yeah, I'm going to say there was a brief spin up or something right in that area. Because usually stuff like that, it doesn't last two scans. If it's an error, usually it's gone on the first scan. And this one lasted for two scans. And it started out real small and then it spread it out. So that makes me think, you know, when you're looking at a debris signature, you'll start to see a small area and then it just spreads because that debris that it picked up, you know, is being slung in different directions. So yeah, that could have been a brief spin up there near Tremont. Still a dangerous supercell, though. Either way you look at it, this is a nasty one. It's producing some very large hail and some damaging winds as well. Also, the threat of a tornado. It's producing ping pong ball size hail. That is very big hail and possible tornado. Locations impacted: Pig Eye, Schattsville, Hackleburg, and Bexar. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 3:45. Or I am so sorry. Tornado warning in effect until 3:45 a.m. Okay, so she said that sirens were going off in that area. Well, more than likely that was a spin up tornado because, like I said, it lasted two radar scans, and it didn't add up because where the circulation is, it was a little bit west, but at the same time, it was right in the area where that inflow was at. So there's a possibility, you know, that it could have wrapped it on. It could have just went ahead and wrapped around really quickly, not fat, you know, and the radar just wouldn't have picked it up. Other than the debris there, that would have been all we would have saw. There's a very good possibility that that's what happened. That it briefly touched down so quick in between the radar scans that the radar couldn't even, you know, pick it up. That's a possibility. So more than likely, that was a brief spin up. You know, according to that. Come on, radar, quit being stubborn. All right, so now I'm too far out from my radar site. And I don't think Huntsville is going to help me out either, being this far away. Nope. Let's see which is closer. All right, the beam height is going up really high up. Let's see which one's got the less height. Okay, so really good there, but it would be nice if this thing would cooperate. Okay, there we go. Yikes. Either way, that beam is really high up. Doesn't matter which radar I use. I think Huntsville might be just a little bit closer. So we'll try that, and it's not very helpful. Yeah, not seeing much with that cell there. Just a ton of lightning with it. Let's back it up. Okay, so they did put a tornado watch in effect for northwest Alabama, western and northern Alabama in effect until 10 a.m. Couple tornadoes, damaging winds of 70 miles per hour, isolated large hail events 1 inch diameter or larger. And I gotta admit, I've never seen them put a watch out and not explain what counties it's for, but it basically tells us that the tornado watch area is approximately along 55 statute miles east and west. That's a lot. That's helpful right there. So it does look like Huntsville is under that watch. Even though it is, and it does appear to go over Marshall County, the watch is actually right in here. It goes right over Huntsville. So it's just to the west of Marshall County. All right, so now this has moved through Tremont now. It is now along, looks like it's right on the Mississippi-Alabama line, about to move toward Vina. And I gotta admit, it's a mess, but it looks like there's another area rotation I'm seeing. Yeah, there is another area rotation I've spotted. And that is now right in there. That's our new area of rotation. Gonna be watching that area. It's yeah, we actually had dual areas of rotation there for a minute. We had two areas. Let me stop the scan here, back it up. That is interesting when you have two areas at once of rotation. So that thing almost, two tornadoes there. Look at that. If it would have held together. Yeah, anyone hearing anything on Tremont or to the west of it? I spent 35 minutes on Tremont because that's how long it took to get there to it. It's just now moving to the northeast of Tremont. No, Mike, it's not coming our way. This is over in northwest Alabama. It's moving toward Vina at this point. But yes, I do try to warn well ahead before it ever gets there. I've mentioned Vina and I mentioned Hackleburg and Hodges way before this thing's ever got up here. Don't let me forget Hodges. Again, we'll read over that tornado warning. It's moving off to the east at 30 miles per hour, and it does have a history of producing tornadoes across portions of Mississippi. The warning is in effect for southwestern Franklin County, including the following locations: Hodges, Duketon, Atwood, Vina, and Little Bear Creek Reservoir. That is in effect until 3:45. So seeing another area of some weak rotation now that's just passed over into Alabama, south of Vina, watching that little area there. But overall, nothing crazy, but it's the area that I pointed out just a minute ago. The lightning is also starting to tell me there's something going on there in that little area. So we're going to be watching that. Another little area rotation south of Vina. Real small area. This could produce a brief spin up, just like the other one we saw over in Mississippi west of Tremont. Interesting. No, you're good, Justin. I appreciate it, man. I don't think I've ever talked to you personally, but I appreciate the help in the chat because I bet my other admins are all in bed. All right, let me back out real quick. And I'm currently using the Columbus Air Force Base radar, just an FYI there. All right, also watching these cells here to the south. Now those, they might just, get close to our area. I won't rule that out. The current track, they are staying west of us currently by this track. But we do have another little guy down here by himself. Well, he might be by himself. That beam's pretty far out, so it may not be showing the way it needs to. See some bright colors show up there. That's some high wind pockets there. Our lightning is, still saying there's something going on right there. What have we got? What is that? Okay, what have we got right in there? I saw something, but it's so small. I can't tell if that's a little, debris signature there, CC drop. We are beaming a little bit high up. Now that could have been a little CC drop there. It might have briefly spun something up. It is just, these HP supercells are just they're so hard to spot stuff in when it comes to that, because there's so much rain, which the rain gives you a good idea of what's going on, but it can sometimes make it hard to see stuff detailed. I do look like there's something happened. So I'm seeing a nice little rotation area. Let's see how high those winds are. That would probably help me determine that a little bit better. Okay, 60, 70. I mean, if it did spin one up, it would probably be an EF0. It would have been really quick. I'm going to look at a correlation scan again, bring it. Yeah, like that could have been a CC drop. It's right in the same area. Yeah, right there where it looks like it tried to tighten up a little bit. Yeah, it was. If it was very weak. Definitely not going to say no that it wasn't, because kind of interesting there how that looked. I was just reading the updates there to see if they had said anything about, maybe a brief touchdown or something, but that is such a small signature there. That would have, had to been, I don't know. I can't say it did touchdown because I'm not seeing enough indication of anything really like we did back here in Tremont. I mean, you can, even the untrained eye can see something. Look at that popped up really quick. So I'm not seeing that. So yeah, Vina rotation is just south of you. You're probably getting some ping pong ball size hail right now if you're in Vina. That's a nice little area of some hail falling there. You're probably getting some really large hail if you're in Vina. Hodges, the rotation need to watch that. Hopefully they've already took their tornado precautions and went to their shelter if they're in a Hodges, because there is a tornado warning in effect for that area. And I'm not sure if they have canceled this one or if there's something else. Yeah, expired. So Phil Campbell, Russellville area. This thing's going to move in your direction shortly. Looks like we got a spotter here, Candace Riddle. It's going to be moving her way shortly. I'm having to keep an eye on how far out we are from the beam, radar beam there, because if it gets too far out, it's not going to be very helpful. All right, so let me back away from this one. We've been continuously tracking it for a little bit, make sure there's nothing else. I'm seeing some individual cells pop up ahead of it. But I can tell you now, anything that tries to develop near this supercell, it's not going to do very good. That supercell is going to pull everything out of it. Like, it is going to suck every bit of energy out of it. And you can see that happening with this one here. It tries to get a hail core on it, and watch what happens to it. It just gone. So it's going to be very hard near that supercell, because that thing is pulling every bit of energy it can out of the surrounding storms. And that's why you're not really seeing anything, in this area either, because that big supercell there is just swallowing all that energy up. But areas to the south here that's away from that supercell, we'll have to watch these. But right now, not nothing big on them. These cells here are separate from that supercell, and they're a little bit south of it. But it's still pulling a lot of energy along with it. So And now there is still a tornado warning in effect until 3:45. Now to the west here, I don't really know. It looks like that's just a tornado watch, but it's not letting me pull it up for some reason. Okay, so severe thunderstorm warning has been put out with some of this stuff moving toward Bear Creek and Haleyville. National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Marion County, northwest Alabama, until 4 o'clock. 316 severe thunderstorm was located over Tremont or near Fulton, moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Ping pong ball size hail, a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. And please forgive me trying to pronounce these because I can already look at some of those and tell that's going to be hard to pronounce. So Tessner, Schattsville, Pierce's Mill, Rankin, Fott Airport, Bryn, Hackleburg, Upper Bear Creek Reservoir, Weston. That one I'm scared to even try to pronounce. Lake, Bahatchee, Bear Creek, Hamilton, Bexar, Pegeye, and Penny Grove. That is some strange names. But the good news is with this thing is at this point and at this moment, this supercell is the messiest that I've seen it since we've been tracking it. So it is an absolute mess right now, which is great. So hopefully that tornado warning, maybe that rotation will go ahead and fall on out. The tornado warning will be allowed to be canceled, but it's a supercell we're dealing with. We're not dealing with a normal storm here. It's what they would call the granddaddy of all storms, supercell. So I don't trust them, but I've noticed the lightning has fell off a lot, which is telling me it's losing its energy. Severe thunderstorm warning just being issued. Nope, wrong thing. Severe thunderstorm warning issued for Franklin County, northwest Alabama until 4:15 at 3:19. A severe thunderstorm located 9 miles southeast of Red Bay, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. At 3:15 a.m., quarter-size hail was reported in Hodges, Alabama. Not surprised. Hazard 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail with that. Red Bay, Cedar Creek Reservoir, Atwood, Tharptown, Duketon, Russellville, Rockwood, Vina, Hall Town, and Hodges. And another false TVS signature. All right, so that tornado warning looks like it was replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning, but at the same time, that little square box, that warning is still in effect for Hodges and Vina, and it looks like the main area of rotation is just to the south of Vina. It looks like it's going to come close to Hodges, but it kind of may go in between. It really depends. And I'm kind of watching the behavior of these cells as they near that supercell. And this thing has still got a strong inflow, and I'll tell you why. Note how these storms here are being sucked up into that. Just watch as they approach, and you'll see them get pulled into it, like right there. You can see them getting pulled up into it. So it's still got a decent bit of rotation. Still trying, but it looks like that tornado warning was canceled, which was expecting it to do that. But still needs to be watched because it's still got a decent, so it's still trying, but it is really, really weak at this point. Yeah, that rotation is just gone on that one. Okay. So we've got some showers moving through. Those may not even be making it here. We're beaming really high up, so let's see if they're even making it. No, there are actually a few of them that is. Looks like there's some little shower activity moving through Marshall there. Little beady stuff. All right, so I'm guessing the Storm Prediction Center did update, and I just didn't see it. But the models look the same. You know, they brought that high risk, they expanded it out a little bit more, a little bit further northeast. The high risk does include, if I'm looking at this correctly, yeah, it does include the area of Gadsden now. The area of Gadsden is under a 5 out of 5 high risk. Birmingham under a high risk. Tuscaloosa high risk as well. Elsewhere, the whole state of Alabama is, elsewhere from that area is under a level 4 out of 5 moderate risk of severe thunderstorms. But I do appreciate everybody that's followed along here. I know there's been quite a few following me ever since I started. I don't know how long I've been going on, an hour and 37 minutes. Oh, I am, Sarah. I appreciate it. I ate a peanut butter sandwich before I went live because my sugar likes to drop late at night, and that's what it did. So I decided, well, this storm's getting close, so I might as well just go live. Second wave of storms, it don't come in until around 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. And I'm I'm backing out from the chat, and then I'm kind of moving back and forth here, so if I don't get back to you, that's why it might take me a few minutes. Seeing some big time hail right now on top of Hodges. Really big hail core there. Actually, no, west of Hodges. It's going right in between. And I keep forgetting I'm beaming up a little bit high. I'm beaming from Huntsville High Top, which is too far away, looking way too high up. And if you want to know who taught me that, about how to see, use the radars and, switching back and forth to make sure you're, within the line of sight. I've had two actually teach me about that. One was the Weather Service in Huntsville, and the other one was meteorologist Taylor Plott. Yes, we actually personally messaged and got to talking, and I helped him with some graphics. That was before he got with the news agencies with now. I think it's Tennessee Valley Weather. But that was before he got with them, so I helped him create some graphics, and then he, in return, helped me out, taught me some stuff that I had actually forgot. I knew about it, but it was so long. We usually don't have severe weather a lot here, so I had actually forgotten about it. So we got to talking, and he told me, he's like, yeah, when you're tracking stuff like that, make sure that your radar, is close by. Because if you're beaming too high up, it's not really doing you any good. If you're looking at a circulation, or in that case we was looking at snowfall, and to the west it looked like there was a significant amount of snow falling because I was looking from the Huntsville radar, which was beaming really high up, far off to the west. So it was picking that stuff up really high up that wasn't making it to the ground. But when you switch to the radar closer to the snowfall, you didn't see that anymore. It disappeared. So it's pretty cool. But let me update everybody in Northeast Alabama. Again, we don't have, nothing here currently. And honestly, everything that's actually coming our way is, not very good. I say not very good. I mean, it's just kind of messy, meaning on the good side in this case. It's not doing much of nothing. I guess that's a better word to put it. But yeah, let me use this for instance, by the reason I'm switching around on the radars, okay? This is a really good example. You see all this rain, and I know that's a 6, but just, we'll just go along with it. You see all this rain here, and that's beaming from Columbus Air Force Base, and that radar beam is going up really high up. I mean, this sucker's beaming way on up in the atmosphere. But let's switch to Huntsville and see what we see. Look at that. It's gone. Only thing there is a little bit of shower activity, but that's pretty much, yeah, it's pretty cool. So if you're tracking tornadic cells or anything like that, make sure your radar is staying as close as possible to the cell, because if you're beaming far away, you're not seeing anything accurate. It's beaming too high up. If you're this far away tracking this cell down here, we're beaming way too high up. We can't see a tornado on the ground here. We can see the rotation up in the higher level of the storm, but we cannot see what's going on at the ground. So in this case, and in some scenarios, it's difficult to find radars close to the storms. But in this case, we're lucky, and here we are. We're able to see what's going on toward the ground now. We're not beaming up that high in the storm there. Alrighty, still, that storm is still pretty much a mess, but it's producing a lot of hail and a lot of wind. Let's look at the chat. No problem, glad I can help. Yeah, I know, Clay. I've been beaming off of it. I was just using that for an example. Glad to see you on, man. I didn't think I would see this many people on, but not a problem, Isaiah. Glad I could be a help. Wow, Travis, I appreciate that. I just saw your comment go by. And Danielle, I just seen your comment. I'm trying to catch back up to it. I'm considering evacuations of Chattanooga right now. I mean, it's going to come that way too, but it's not supposed to be as bad. I'll be honest, all this is to the west, and I'm not seeing anything crazy coming our way with this morning round yet. Everything's to the west. There is a tornado watch in effect, which I have been expecting that for a while. But it is to the west of us, or it was. I'm not even seeing it anymore. They may have went ahead and canceled that watch, really early. Yeah, I don't even, okay, yep, there it shows up. Okay. Okay, it was issued out at 2:35 and it's in effect until 10 a.m. Saturday morning. Okay, so yeah, it is still in effect. It's just not showing up for some reason. Hope my radar's not freezing up again. And we're going to look a little bit more detail. This is going to make everything look really mean and really bad. I'm just going to tell you, this is a high definition radar color platelet here. And I actually like it because it does show a lot more in depth. It makes everything pop a little bit more. Yeah, so far the only stuff that I see that's causing, even would cause an issue would be this stuff here, the around Phil Campbell and Hackleburg. This severe thunderstorm warning on that. Everything else at the moment is behaving. I can't say that cell there has behaved, but that's kind of a lie because this supercell here, or it was a supercell, has produced multiple tornadoes over Mississippi. So I don't call that one behaved. It has definitely not been behaved whatsoever, but now it is. So there you go. That cell produced a lot of tornadoes, and I believe one stayed on the ground for a while. Not sure how big it was or how much damage it done, but I heard it did do some damage, and it also briefly spinned up a tornado just to the west of Tremont before crossing the line into Alabama. So this cell here has definitely not been behaved, and it may surprise us again. Hopefully it don't, but right now it's just a mess. Lots of hail, lots of damage and winds. All right, so we've been tracking it for a while, and the only reason I was really tracking it was because of the rotation and the tornadic part of it. But right now, looking at it, it is an absolute mess. So may go ahead and wrap it up here, rest a little while, keep an eye on the radar, of course, and if anything does come up, I'll let everybody know. So let me go to the comments and take a look. If anyone would like to send a thank you donation for this to Cap CWX, that's my Cash App. Again, it's not a required thing. I know a lot of people are meteorologists and stuff wanting to charge now to do exactly this. Like, you can't even watch their live streams unless you pay them to do it. So that's something that's going on now. I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm going to keep it, free for as many people as I can. As long as I got sponsors and I can do it, I'm going to keep doing it. Yes, that is the same storm that caused damage in Mississippi. The one that's got the severe thunderstorm warnings on it right now. And yes, PDS does mean a particularly dangerous situation. You're right, Nate. Nathaniel, good to see you. I didn't really see your comment there for a minute. Yeah, when you see PDS, that's bad. And I'm going to say, I hate to say this, but if things continue like they are, this stuff moves on off to the north, which is what we expect it to do, move on off to the north. If it clears out and becomes sunny today, I will say this, there is a good possibility that that is not the last PDS tornado watch that we see. More than likely, we would be under a PDS tornado watch later on. But again, things can change. Yeah, this supercell here, it's it's not a supercell anymore. It's really weakened on out. Like, it's turning into this pretty much a line at this point. The supercell part of it is not a supercell anymore, but it is still producing some big hail, and it's weakening on out. Like, every scan looks like it's getting weaker. Let me see how far I'm. Okay, well, that could be why it looks like it's getting weaker too. We're starting to get to the limit on our beam height, so we're starting to get a little bit too far away from the radar site. So let's see if I can get a closer radar. Huntsville is definitely not going to be no closer. And that's what makes it difficult when you don't have a radar this close. and we don't. So we're just gonna have to estimate. We're still within the range of the radar beam, but we're getting a little bit high up, so it's getting harder to see what's going on toward the ground. You'll notice, how you know that you're getting too far out is notice how everything starts smoothing out, and the pixels become larger. Like notice how large those pixels are on this compared to the ones over here. But even they are starting to get a little bit bigger, and they're starting to smooth out a bit. So that's how you know you're getting too far away from the radar. It's beaming up too high. When you are seeing it smooth out like that, you're getting way too far away. And that's what's happening. We're starting to get way too far away from the radar beam. But yeah, notice the closer you get, look at the pixels here and how detailed they look. For those that are new, look how close we are here to the radar beam. And look at the pixels here. How detailed they are. They're little squares. Pretty detailed little pixels there. And even, looking at the storm here, or the storms down here, they look a lot more detailed. Now let's go further northeast and we'll look at these. And you're going to notice what I'm talking about. Now look how big these pixels are and how smooth they look. I mean, these boxes, they're like gigantic boxes. And that's how you know that you're too far away. When they're starting to get very large, such as this one here. Let me get it back on here. Such as that right there. Yeah, you're getting big pixels in there. You're too far away. And the further out you go, the less accuracy. You're looking way high up. Look how big some of these pixels here are. I mean, look at that. They are gigantic. Okay, everybody. Well, I'm going to get off here, take a break, rest a little while because I'm exhausted. Looks like we got another, good, crazy event coming later. I'm going to look at the models real quick, though. See if anything's changed with them. All right, so the models, they do still think we will get some of this stuff coming out of the southwest. They do still think that we will get some around maybe 6 a.m. So it is still thinking that we will get some of that activity, but it will quickly push off to the north. It will clear out. Let's see how long it looks like this clears out. So it moves north. We're clearing out right here, which is at 10 a.m. Looks like it starts to clear out from 10 a.m. all the way up to 2 p.m. And then we start to get those individual cells out ahead of the main system along I-65 currently, and they move into, into Marshall, DeKalb, Jackson counties. It's showing around 3 o'clock. So 2 to 3 o'clock, the main, the stuff ahead of the main line gets here, and it stays busy from that point on. We have, cells after cells after cells move through. And the radar, it is updating again. The high resolution models are updating again. So it's not letting me view everything, but there's going to be a lot of storms, batches of storms coming in with this. And looks like the newest update shows it won't let me move it forward anymore. Looks like 7 o'clock it starts clearing northwest Alabama, and that's as far as the models will let me run it because they're updating. So this thing looks like it could last for hours. Once it gets here, it could last for hours. So just keep that in mind. So enjoy the little bit of a break we do get. Well, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. Yeah, well, I mean, it took me. I was in several storm chasing teams and helped out, um, a radar a lot, and I was one of their best radar people when it comes to spotting stuff. Everybody, used me. I saved quite a few storm chasers from driving into a tornado a few years ago um, on an event. One of our trackers now, Chris Williamson, he was headed. I don't remember exactly where it was at, but it was along. I believe it was along I-65 there. Yeah, he was on I-65 going north, and there was a supercell coming right at him, and he was about to drive right into the tornado. And I told him, I said, "You need to stop right where you're at and go south. You need to stop. Go south." So he had actually stopped, and that thing crossed right in front of him. I don't know how close, but it was close. He was just about to drive into it. So, yeah, no, I was very proud. I was able to stop him before he drove into it. So we'll run over the timing one more time with things. So let me see. Huntsville may have updated some stuff since then. Okay, they have not. Last update was at 12:52 p.m. yesterday. Okay, so looks like the first batch that's out ahead of the main line. Looks like it gets into Marshall County around 2 o'clock. Okay, it starts moving into Marshall County. East of there, we're picking up some signatures of some supercells, maybe trying to develop in DeKalb County around, actually DeKalb and Jackson counties around 3 o'clock. That's with the stuff out ahead. And from then on, it's just going to be busy continuously, just continuous round after round of supercells that are supercells with this main line. So looks like around 2 or 3 o'clock for Northeast Alabama, anywhere between Marshall, Jackson, and DeKalb counties. Around 2 or 3 o'clock, I'll say we started to get some of that in here. The models seem like they've sped it up just a little bit. There's actually a site with the Weather Service. If you'll go to the National Weather Service Huntsville's page, it gives you a lot of that information, related to this. And also the Storm Prediction Center gives you a lot of this information as well. No problem, Becky. Yeah, by the way, before you leave, all this is west of your area. It is going to move into Georgia. This system will, but it'll be really late tonight. Yeah, my first tornado, I'm trying to remember. Um, I started out in 2006 as a certified storm spotter. That was back when the Weather Service gave you the certificates, and they would give you a ton of goodies and stuff. Like they would give you an EMA bag that had sanitizer in it. It had booklets. I mean, lots of booklets. It had Skywarn stickers in it. I mean, all that stuff. Like a big bag full of stuff. And now you go to the classes and you're just like, what happened? I mean, I know, like, man, everything has changed. Which they still try to give you stuff. Don't get me wrong; they still give you information, but if you ever went to the ones back in the day, you know what I'm talking about. It's just so different, and now you have to print your certificates offline. And before, back in the day when I did it, you got a real official looking storm spotter certificate. I'm looking at the one I got back in March 2nd, 2006, and it looks like something that you would get at a university versus the ones nowadays. So that's crazy. But okay, everybody, enough chit chat. I got to get some rest. Get ready for more crazy stuff coming in. So, gonna get ready to wrap it up. Storm spotting classes, I believe we have some storm spotting classes coming up. I believe it's going to be in Rainsville. I don't know the exact date, but I've got to find out because I'm due to go there. I'm supposed to be there, so I've got to remember the date. It seems like it's around the 20th, but there is a storm spotting class. You can more than likely go to the EMA office or the EMA's website, DeKalb County EMA and Jackson County EMA, and you can scroll down through there and you'll eventually see storm spotting classes. It tells they rescheduled it, I think, for the 20th or it's somewhere right in there of March. So I got to figure out when that is myself. Oh my, Sarah, that's a bad story to tell. Well, I remember the whole couch deal because, I stayed with my grandpa years ago. Well, when he was alive, we're talking years and years ago. I think I was like 12, and I remember him grabbing the couch and putting it over me and Grandma, and we was in a mobile home, so and we was under a tornado warning. That was their idea of being safe back then, and I think about how unsafe it really was now. Even though you have a couch over you, what happens when the whole thing goes, just explodes? That couch is not going to help you much. All right, you get some hail in Russellville area. Yeah, that's definitely to be expected with that cell. Yeah, it's right on top of Russellville. We got a report of almost an inch in diameter hail. It's very close. It's less than a quarter. But okay, it was good talking to everybody. Thanks for watching. Going to try to rest a little while. So y'all have a good rest of your morning, and we'll keep you updated. Have a great rest of your morning there. God bless. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. I do appreciate it.